Welcome back. This is our next section of Unreal Tournament 3 maps that I've made. So instant access or action, let's go to capture the flag. Let's go into Goldeneye because that one's really fun. Everybody loves Goldeneye.
You are on red.
So this is one that I did, again, as kind of a weekend project. I think I did 2 weekends. Might have been 1 or 2. The most difficult part about it is that it's accurate as far as size and scale, except this room, I made this room bigger. In hindsight, I should have done these as columns and made them a little bit nicer, but hey, you know, you only have so much time to work in. I had to do this to get the size done. I went through the actual Goldeneye game and counted per block how many blocks it was for each room, which took a bit of effort. So, but this is to the scale, to accurate positioning, you know, the stairwell and height, and everything's been kind of modded to fit for Unreal, because the characters in Unreal are a little bit bigger than James Bond was. You can also jump a bit higher, so I raised the ceiling a little bit, but outside of that, it should be to the point. You know, as much as the improvements are in Unreal Tournament 4 or Unreal Engine 4, I really like the way the bump mapping worked in Unreal 3. It seemed to work a little bit nicer than the way the newer versions of it work. But anyway, here's the bathroom. I kind of went overboard on setting up the men's room, but you know, it's, if you've been in a men's room, it's kind of accurate. Now for the rust, that's a bit too extreme. It kind of looks like blood. Somebody had some bad nights, I guess. Then you can, of course, get up here. If I can get in there. Oops, did it bounce out? It did bounce out. There we go. So you have the tunnel. This is where you would load in if you were playing Goldeneye. And it would come around. And then the bathroom stalls. Now this one you can't get through. In the original Goldeneye, I think you couldn't get through that either. It was always the second one, so the second one it is. Here's the stall. And then these little areas. These were not sectioned off in Goldeneye. I decided to take some creative licensing here. I think if I were to do this again, I would definitely tone down the rust on here, on the porcelain. Also, PBR is a thing now, so I could definitely take some you know, physics-based rendering to get some better quality out of the light. I do like the texture work in here. This one, not too bad. The next room's kind of hideous, though. In here, this is kind of accurate, going down. This tile doesn't go. I don't know what I was thinking with that. And these doors, one opens one way, one opens the other way. And then this room is the same. It's accurate all the way down to... Actually, I think in Goldeneye this one's actually open, but I have this one in here. And then this back room here. I didn't put any chairs or anything in here, just because it would be in the way. Unreal tends to do better when things are open, so I didn't add any weird things to trip on. I did add this back room here. This wall is a secret wall. Look at that. It's always good to have a good weapon cache. These doors. Like, look at that. Look at the normal map on here. It's a little bit rounded, but it's kind of nice. Even though the texture's kind of blown out. I almost believe that that's got a crack in it. Speaking of cracks, this glass can be cracked. So if I shoot it, I can break it. Now I did have an issue on this map in particular, which was the particles, whenever I would break this, and you'll watch, they're actually dark. The particles would not accept the lighting in here, and it was just a weird bug. This little area. I've already been in this room, but just kind of show you that it is kind of accurate to the size and scope. There's usually bottles in here, but I did not add the bottles. I guess I could add them in. They're not that big of an obstacle. It's just something you could dodge around. And then in this room, there was there's like a long tube, and that kind of reaches to the ceiling in the original game. And then there's like computers over here. It's just stuff I never got to add in. So avoid that thing. It's just noisy. So this room, I don't know what I was on when I was making these. The textures are hideous. I was experimenting with different colors and different styles to get a feel, and then I ended up, running out of time. Now this door does work the same way it did in the original Goldeneye. So these two work on a trigger. If this door is open, that one has to be closed, and vice versa. So if I go to open this door, it closes that one, and then this door will open. So come on, you. There we go. But that door has to be closed. Now this was a bit of a pain to set up on Kismet because the way the logic works. But, it was fun. That being the case, I'm not going to wait for the doors to figure themselves out. I'm just going to kind of go through. So what I should have done is ultimately settled on this one to run this interior. But I wanted it to look like, as you got to here, because this is a chemical plant back in here, but this is more like office space, and then you're getting into something more concerning. And I was trying to do an experiment with bump mapping to get this railing to look like it was, but it's really just way too high. Like I should have lowered this down and used like a static mesh for it, but I was testing the system. The textures in here are not the greatest either. Should have done a different color for this, but I do like the tile. And these are all pretty accurate to the size and scale. These are just little side rooms. You would have chemistry tables in here in the original Goldeneye. This is also a hidden cache of weapons. There'd be a guy here. Shoot him and run through. Another chemistry room. And then down here is the main bottling room at the end of the hallway. You have to use the little decoder to get through there in the game. And this is kind of where I ended up getting stuck. I ran out of time and never ended up finishing it. So the bottles would go here, and this would be the exit to the next room. Try to keep strict on my time limit, so if I don't make it, I don't make it. But I do like the way this room looks. This is good here. This part, I don't think that works, but I do like this. I was gonna make the little escalator, or the what is it, the conveyor belt that goes from here. I just never did. This is the other flag, so if you're playing Capture the Flag, this is where the blue flag is. And then this room is accurate, of course, to size and scope. You get into here. And then this runs up here. And again, this is all done with a combination of ESPs and static meshes. So, but this is the Goldeneye map in a nutshell. It was pretty fun to put together. A little sad that I didn't get to finish it. I guess I could have continued working on it, but moved on to a different project at that point. If I were to do it again, curious to what I would come up with. Probably wouldn't be too different. I might just redo the textures on here, fix the UVs on that thing. But this is also available on the map rotation, so if you want to play it, check it out on the server, and I will see you then.